guys, this is Deb with 4SeasonsCrafts. Today we are going to start a series on making cards that have a single panel card base. So let me show you what I mean. So here's the card that we're actually going to make, and it opens up like this. So this is the card. It's mainly designer series paper, and the base of it is just a 5.5 by 4.25 piece of cardstock. So this is your typical card. I got this card in a swap, and I feel so badly because I can't remember the person who made it. So if I go back and find the envelope, I'll give her credit. But this is your typical card, right? It folds this way, or maybe it opens up like this, but it's a half sheet of cardstock. Well, sometimes all we have is a quarter sheet of cardstock. So over the next 7 days, I'm going to show you a new card made with only a piece of 5.5 by 4.25. So we are going to go ahead and get started. And this is a great way to use up your designer series paper that you may have gotten during Sale-A-Bration. So it's kind of post Sale-A-Bration, right? Opportunities to use up the designer series paper. So here we go. So of course we need our card base, which is 5.5 by 4.25, and this is fresh freesia. Then we're going to need a cardstock layer, and that is this one here. This is 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So all we're doing is giving ourselves a small border around the edge. That's what we're after with this one. Then we're going to need a piece of designer series paper, and this is 4 inches by 12. So for every piece of designer series paper, you could get 3 of these cards. And I know sometimes, at least I'm guilty of holding on to the paper because I love it. And I'm thinking I only want to use it. And I will tell you guys, you can use your paper and you're still going to have some left. I think it was 40 cards out of a pack of designer series paper. Plus I scrapbooked, I want to say 4 pages. And I did not skimp. I did envelopes and everything. So just, you can make a ton of cards and still have paper left over. So, sorry, I digress. So this is 4 inches by 12, and we created score lines at 5 1/4 and 10 1/2. So this is the 5 1/4, and then you're going to do another one at 10 1/2. This is 1.5 inches. I do find it easier to flip your paper and then do that score line. So that is the other piece. And then you need an inside piece of basic white cardstock, and this is 5 inches by 3 3/4. So and then these are scraps that we're going to use for the outside sentiment and the layer. So that's what those are for. So again, very few pieces. And the nice thing about this too is you might have some designer series paper with a color in it, but let's say you don't have full sheets of, or even a half a sheet of cardstock, but maybe you have some of these just rectangles, a few of those. These are perfect to use those pieces up. It gives you a beautiful card, and you don't necessarily need that much cardstock. All right. So, and then I also did cut out a piece that is 2 1/4 by 6 inches because we're going to decorate an envelope, because I want to show you guys just how to do that as well if you haven't done it. All right, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our designer series paper, and we are going to lightly burnish it with our bone folder. And we have to kind of make a decision at this point what side we are going to show. So in this case, do I want it to look like this, or do I want to fold it the opposite way and have more of the purple showing and less of the flowers? And I think for this particular card, I really like having the flowers on the outside. So again, we're going to just make sure our edges are all lined up, and then we burnish that. Now we just take our piece of basic white card, or our piece of card base. Oops, sorry. Before I do that, we're going to layer it with our piece of basic white. Now you guys could choose, again, any color you want to put this on here. I'm going to adhere this directly to my card base, but if you wanted, you could put it up on dimensionals if you would like. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add this. I was going through and I was finding more and more. I was going to say, like, oh, I can do a video on just one, couple cards. And then I started finding more and more. And I thought, oh, this will make a great series. Now, at this point, if you wanted to stamp a sentiment on your inside piece of white cardstock, I would stamp that. I'm not going to for this particular video, but if you wanted, you could obviously decorate the inside of this. Stamp it, add some, if you have this set, the matching stamp set and dies, it would be beautiful to decorate this. I'm not going to do that today. We're going to kind of stick with just focus more on the fold, and then just adding a little bit of embellishment to the outside. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just lay this in here. Make sure I know where my inside of my score line is there, so I can get this nice and even. There we go. And I'm just going to layer that. And now we take this piece and we're going to layer it here. Again, if you did this one, maybe you want to put this up on dimensionals. Totally up to you. Again, I personally, because designer series paper is not as heavy, I do think it lays better just by adhering it with adhesive. But again, up to you. Excuse me. All right, so we're going to go ahead and layer this on top. Oops. And again, you're just looking for that even border all the way around. And you can see how quickly this card can come together. I mean, look at that. We already have, and this is just gorgeous. Again, you could put something here, but just letting the beautiful designer series paper be the focal point, I think is awesome. Okay, so now we're going to take our scraps and we are going to stamp a sentiment, and then we are going to punch it out. Now, let me stamp it first, and I'm going to use these peaceful moments. I pull them out all the time. They truly are my favorite. And we're going to make it a birthday card. I'm a little behind in birthdays. I'm a little behind in cards, I think, period. But, all right, here we go. So I'm going to bring this over. And again, I'm going to be using a circle punch. And I'm just going to tap this in my ink here, because I did just re-ink this. And so we'll see if I got a good stamp here. Not so much. All right. I think I may have to press a little harder. We'll go on this side. Okay, there we go. Now, what I wanted to share with you guys is there are punches. Stampin' Up! Came out on March 1st, so just this week, with online exclusives. And in those online exclusives, they have 2 of the circle punches that they have brought back. If you do not have them, I would definitely encourage you to go and get them. They are awesome. I have all the dies, and dies are fantastic. But when you want to make a quick circle and you just want to put one on a card, these are phenomenal. I think they have a 2-inch and a 1 3/4. Now, I don't have the 1 3/4, so I think I'm going to be placing an order to buy one of those. This is I have the 2 and the 2 1/4, but for this project, you could do either one. So I'm going to punch this out with the 2-inch punch. And then I'm going to take the 2 1/4 and we're going to punch out and that's what I mean. I mean, it is so quick to use a punch. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to adhere the our sentiment to our circle here. But yeah, punches make it so easy when you're trying to maybe get a card out pretty quickly. The other thing too, I am also, I love to scrapbook, and I used to just sit and take a circle punch and just punch out paper all the time. And then when I needed a circle to like embellish a page, I had a whole bunch there. So I would really, that's another great thing to do with cards. You could have just a bunch of white circles punched out. And then when you need one, you could just put that right on your card. All right, now for this one, we are going to add a little ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to put it on yet. So we're going to see if we want to loop it or make a bow. Not quite sure yet. Decisions, right? These are the decisions of the day. Maybe. Not much, is it? No. You have to understand too that some of this is going to be showing in the back, right? So I think what I might do is literally tie a little knot or a bow and put it up in the corner or on the side. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to see. I am not the best bow tire here, but we're going to try it. Pull this through. Let's see if we can get something that looks semi-decent. So once you start the bow, then you can start to, kind of pull it through, and then you can take the ends back down and then tie it a little tighter once you get those bows to lay exactly like you want them. And I think this is going to work right here. All right. There comes a point, right, where you just say, okay, good enough. All right, good enough, right? So let me grab my little snips here. And we'll just cut these at an angle. And again, let me just make sure I have it going. Come on, that'll work. All right, there we go. You could probably use a little help. That's all right. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pop this up on dimensionals, and then I'm just going to put that piece of ribbon right here or somewhere down there. So I'm going to turn this over. Now, when you guys are applying your dimensionals for this particular card, just make sure, I'm just going to use up the edges here. Just make sure that one, you know where your words are, and then you only want it to go so far, because it's going to hang off the edge. So find your middle and then only have it be on the one side. So we're going to add a little bit more to make sure it's sturdy. I sent a card to someone, you guys, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and it was a pretty, it had some embellishments in it, and it came back and it was pretty torn up, and it just made me realize, oh man, I need to do a little better job when I pop things up, maybe to put something over top of it so it doesn't get so damaged. All right, there we go. Let me attach the bow. We'll use a glue dot for this. And then I think, we'll put the bow down here. I think that might be the best. Oops. Now you guys could also add something over here, but I think what makes these cards so nice is they can be so simple because the paper is really going to add to your card by itself. But there you have it. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? I love it. And this would be a great card too if you make cards for work or for a large family, because you could take another piece of white and put it on this side, and then you have lots of room for people to add their words of thanks or happy birthdays or whatever sentiment they might want to put in the card. All right, so that's that. Now, of course, we want to decorate our envelope. I just wanted to share with you guys, because another great way to use up your designer series paper. So every envelope, at least the ones you get from Stampin' Up, right, a piece of 6" by 2.5 or 2.25 is going to fit right here. It is going to cover the flap of your envelope, and I'll turn it over this way. So you can see if you do 2.25 by 6, you're just cutting very little off. So there's very little waste. And again, you might as well use it instead of letting it go bad. So what you do is you're going to just take a bead of glue, and now you can use a tape runner if you want, but really you want to get it close to the edge, but you don't want to really layer it on too thick, because what you don't want to happen is it squishes out the edge. Okay, and then we're just going to run a little bit in the middle. Now I just have to choose what side, and I am going to choose the flowers because they're absolutely gorgeous. And it might bring cheer, right? Even to the postal person carrying the package. All right, here we go. So all I do is I take it right up to the lip there, and you can have a little teeny bit of white showing if you so desire, whatever you want to do. So there we go. And we're just going to make sure that's down all the way. And then I will take my paper scissors. And now you are literally just going to cut around that envelope. And I remember thinking, because many of you know, I don't like to fussy cut. Like, I don't like to fussy cut at all. I don't really consider this fussy cutting. These are pretty straight edges, and my scissors run right along the edge of the envelope to cut that off. So it's not even, I don't consider this fussy cutting. I consider this just cutting. Whatever you learned, you learn to cut in kindergarten or preschool or whatever it is. All right, and there you go. So you guys, that is it. So always remember 2.25 by 6. You can get enough paper there to make an envelope. So there you go. This is our first in a series of 7 fun folds that are just going to have a single card base. So that's it. If you guys have any questions, by all means, feel free to email me at stampingwithfair@gmail.com, or visit shop4seasonscrafts.com if you would like to make a purchase. What is the other one? And then if you would, I would love for you to subscribe, and you can click the notification button every time I upload a video. So thanks, guys. I greatly appreciate you joining, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.